So the Mario Galaxy movie has brought in some new lore that Peach and Rosalina are sisters. And with Miyamoto saying that certain elements from the movies can be brought over into the games, and the fact that it seems like the newly added storybook in Mario Galaxy 2 was probably written alongside the Mario movie, with the latest chapter pulling close parallels to Luba searching for her sibling and Rosalina's search for her special someone, we have to ask, can they even be siblings in the game's canon? As you might know, the Mario movies tend to contradict game elements, like where Mario and Luigi were raised, for example. And at first, Peach and Rosalina being sisters does seem to be another one, but it seems like they might actually be hinting that that's the case in the games too. And who can blame them? Like it or not, most casual people will take the movie canonicity and take it as it is. Plus, they do look alike, and they can pose as parallels to the Mario Bros. It does seem they did originally plan for them to be related, but personally, I always thought it as just like a loose connection, like Rosalina being an old ancestor to Peach. Because I'd say the biggest problem is that in the original Mario Galaxy storybook, Rosalina mentions her family, like her dad, brother, and even deceased mother, but never a sister. But we'll come back to that later. First of all, even if they were just siblings in-game, they can't just be magically created from Stardust like they do in the movie. Since Rosalina clearly mentions her family and living on what seems to be the Mushroom Kingdom. It does seem the storybook starts on the Gateway Galaxy, where she meets the baby Luma, since on a later page you can see her fly away from there on her starship. So somehow, before the storybook even began, Rosalina was all alone in space. So let's just say, maybe after their mother's death, Rosalina and Peach get told that their mother is now in the stars, and missing their mom, they somehow find a way to get into space, trying to look for her. And they end up in the Gateway Galaxy. And that may be just like the movie, some kind of evil force, maybe the Shroobs, that would be a cool connection. And Rosalina has to sacrifice herself to send Peach away. Maybe unbeknownst to her, back to the Mushroom Kingdom, since the storybook in 2 does seem to imply that she's searching for her sibling. And that's how she ended up there alone in the Gateway Galaxy. Finds the baby Luma and tries to help them find their mother. And I think this is the closest way to make them related. However, there are still some problems, cause like I said, Rosalina mentions her family. She talks about wishing to see her dad, brother, and dead mother again, but not your beloved sister that you just lost. This also seems to imply that Rosalina and Peach have a brother, and they could have probably very easily retconned this in the Mario Galaxy 1 remake if they wanted to. And finally, Rosalina has been in space for hundreds of years, yet when she meets Peach again, she's only a couple years older than when they last saw each other. Like Rosalina being hundreds of years old and staying young, I can kind of understand, right? Through weird time and space warping and being like a space goddess. But Peach, she's just kind of been living on Earth, and I don't believe her and the other Mario cast, since they were all kind of born around the same time, are hundreds of years old. Now maybe, unlike some kind of warp pipe in the Mario movie, maybe Rosalina put Peach in some kind of time portal, again, kind of referencing Mario and Luigi's partners in time. And that's how she lost her? Because she knew where Peach was, but not when. Am I cooking? I don't know. It would kind of explain her watching over the Mushroom Kingdom for hundreds of years, besides just being homesick, right? Trying to kind of see like, oh, is this the time when she appeared? But then again, she doesn't seem all that happy or emotional when she finally sees Peach in Mario Galaxy 2 or even the end of 1. She kind of seems distant, as if she's just not related to her at all, so I don't know. In the end, it's just like Donkey Kong and Pauline age timeline, and just like the Zelda timeline in general, it seems to be just a Nintendo thing to make shit up as they go. It makes it fun to theorize and puzzle things together, but in the end, not everything is gonna fit. So what do you think? Is there a way to make Peach and Rosalina sisters in the games? Will Nintendo even ever reference this again? Or maybe we'll get an answer if Mario Galaxy 3 comes out. Who knows? Regardless, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this. It really means a lot. And I hope you have a nice day and that I'll see you later.